Hey guys, Jared Garcia with The Heart of Real Estate. I'm here with Dorothy Otero with headinghome.org. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Well, we want to learn about headinghome.org, so tell us a little bit about the three main focus areas of headinghome.org.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So Heading Home has three primary focus areas, as you said.
Yeah.
One is prioritized street outreach. One is our emergency housing services and our permanent supportive housing services.
Okay. Let's go a little bit into those sectors a little bit.
Sure. So on our Street Connect, we call it APQ Street Connect.
Okay.
We provide services to individuals who typically do not engage in services. So we have a street outreach team that goes onto the streets in the downtown area, engages with individuals who typically, like I said, do not come in for services.
Okay.
With the goal of establishing relationships, engaging them into at least conversation, eventually getting them to come to our office.
Letting them know who you are.
Letting them know who we are, what we have to offer. A lot of our clients, the majority of our clients there are the highest utilizers of emergency services and emergency care. We work with them on some of those items that, those issues that they have as far as going in for emergency services.
Okay. Yeah.
And with the ultimate goal of getting them into housing and off the streets.
And that's, really passion of mine. Obviously, I'm in real estate, and it's a passion of mine to try to get people into permanent housing.
Right.
And so let's talk about the second sector.
So our emergency shelters, we operate two shelters. The Albuquerque Opportunity Center is a service campus. It co-locates two programs.
Okay.
One, our emergency housing center, and then our respite or recuperative care center.
Gotcha. How many individuals do you house per night in average?
Yeah, so on our emergency housing side, we have 71 beds that provide men who are experiencing homelessness a safe place to sleep.
Gotcha.
And also a safe place to keep their belongings when they're gone during the day.
Gotcha. That's great. I mean, you guys offer a wonderful service. So,
yeah.
So that's 71 beds.
That's 71 beds on our emergency housing side for the men.
Okay.
On the recuperative care side, we have 30 beds.
Okay.
And this is for men who, again, experiencing homelessness, who have been released from the hospital after some serious illness or serious accident, those types of things.
Wow.
And so with the hospitals, it's a much cheaper, affordable alternative to hospitalizing someone, putting them into our respite services, where they receive the medical attention that they need, ongoing medical attention, as well as stability, transportation to medical appointments, medication management, and then the support that they need to get into housing if they wish to do so.
That's wonderful. So 100 individuals, and that's in one location?
That is in one location.
Okay. What about your second location?
Well, our Westside Emergency Housing Center can house up to 400 to 450 people per night.
I heard about that, and that is just amazing.
Yes.
You help out a lot of individuals, and that's per night, right?
Yes.
That's just phenomenal.
And it just really welcomes people, families, men, women experiencing homelessness into an environment where they know they will be safe.
Right.
We are open during the week. We're open in the evenings. On the weekends, we're open 24 hours, and we are now year-round.
So if there's somebody who needs help, they can go to headinghome.org. If you know somebody who needs help, they can go to headinghome.org. The services are there, guys, and we want you all to know about headinghome.org. And Dorothy, thanks so much for educating us a little bit more. Let's talk about the third main focus of Heading Home.
Yeah, so our permanent supportive housing services, we have two programs currently. We're always working on having more.
Yes.
So our current program that has been in existence since 2011 is Albuquerque Heading Home, the initiative.
Okay.
And I was fortunate to start as a housing coordinator back in 2011.
Wonderful.
We identified a number of individuals who had been the most chronically homeless and the most medically vulnerable. We picked, out of that group, 75 individuals that we knew had homelessness of in excess of 20 to 25 years.
Wow.
And so that was a really, really tough group. Right. And they had given up all hope of ever being ever being housed.
Wow.
And so when I approached them, I said, hey, you know what? You've been selected for housing. Do you want to get into housing? And they said, you know what? I haven't been housed in 25 years. I've given up, and I don't know if I can do this.
If you can do it, right.
And so we started working with these individuals, and it really, looking back on it now, all of my 75 individuals, they did so well in housing.
That's wonderful.
And with intensive case management, that they were able to stay in housing and overcame some of the barriers.
What types of housing are these? These, I guess, are they apartments? Or I know I've gotten that question.
Right, and they are apartments.
Okay.
So we rent fair market, open market. We work with probably, I probably have a network of about 100 landlords that I work with.
Wow. Okay.
That know what the program does,
right.
Who our clientele is, and that really goes above and beyond to help individuals understanding that they still have issues that they're dealing with, that they may have behavioral health issues, so that are really understanding about the situation that our folks are coming from.
So when they go into those housing, do you offer them services beyond that point? I know they get welcome home baskets, that type of stuff.
Definitely. So all of our clients throughout our programs that are housed receive those intensive case management services. They receive everything really that they need to get started in their apartment, which ranges from their bed to furniture to household supplies, cleaning supplies, toiletries, those types of things. I want to
bring this up. We are raising funds for headinghome.org. $20 will purchase a welcome home basket for one individual. And just yesterday we raised $700. Which we're very, very proud to give that funds to you so we can keep those baskets coming and keep housing individuals. So if you all know anybody that wants to donate to headinghome.org, we're more than happy to help out. We have everything ready for you. And let's go to the housing first approach to housing, and why does that work?
And let me just step back for just 1 second. So our other permanent housing program that I just wanted to touch on is our Families Heading Home program. And in that program, we started that in 2015. We're following a model that came out of a very small but a very successful pilot program that started in New York. And that program was focused on individuals, or families, I should say, that had involvement in the child welfare system. People, a lot of times, families get involved in child welfare because they don't have adequate shelter or adequate means to support their children, make sure that they go to school, that they're taken care of. So we started that program in 2015 with, it was a pilot that we ran in the state of New Mexico with 60 families throughout 3 counties. The program was very successful. And one of the things
that's what we want to hear, success.
And one of the things that the KFT model allows is for a very different approach to families that are in crisis and that are who are about to lose their children to the child welfare system. When a child can be safely kept in the home, that's what we want to do.
That's the goal, right?
And so in New Mexico, instead of a reunification model, we looked at a preservation model. So we ran a family preservation model. Again, the families did extremely well. We served 87 families in that pilot. And a lot of the families still stay in touch with me. And they say, hey, last year I had 3 invitations to graduations, 2 high school graduations for some of our kiddos in the program.
That is
and
so cool.
One of the moms who graduated from UNM with her civil engineering degree.
That's phenomenal.
And so it's those types of things. And like I said, when people call you years after they have been on the program.
Absolutely. Really, and they remember you, and it's that connection that you've built by reaching out, by helping them, and just keep progressing. And they see that, and that's so awesome to hear.
Yeah, we recognize in that program, we recognize the fact that families in crisis have so many complex needs and so many multiple needs that need to be addressed in order to make sure that their kiddos are safe within their family. So that's really huge.
You guys offer such a great service. Now, the housing first approach.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So housing first, actually, it's no longer a new thing. It came about in the late 1990s. But we're still incorporating that into our programs because one of the things that we've learned, and I've been a service provider for 35 years.
Wow.
And so a long time ago, when I started housing people, it was look for people who are housing ready because you will have the best outcomes. So we no longer look for people to be housing ready. We look for people who are just ready for housing. They want to get housed, and we tell them, you know what? We're breaking down all of the barriers.
Wonderful.
You don't need to be in treatment. You don't need to be sober. You don't need to have any services in place for us to be able to house you.
Right.
So the concept is you get individuals into housing, you meet them where they're at this point. You get them into housing, make those connections quickly, give people a voice.
Yeah, so give me goosebumps a little bit. That just makes sense. It does. It makes sense.
Tell people, where do you want to be housed?
Right.
I'm not going to put you someplace where you don't want to be.
Don't want to be.
What type of housing do you want?
Right.
What type of services do you want? What do you want your life to be? Not what I want your life to be.
What your life, exactly.
And so you see a lot of the result of that was a lot of housing stability and reduced incidents of people returning to homelessness.
Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate all your work down there. And so what makes this so meaningful to you? You've been in this industry for 35 years. Yeah. So what really pulls you towards this?
Well, I think there are, hopefully I have time for 2 short stories.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the gentlemen that I've met when I first started housing for Heading Home in 2011 was a gentleman by the name of Simon.
Okay.
Simon had been in and out of homelessness for over 20, 25 years. Had spent a lot of his life in prison. Wow. Deep into addictions all of his life. And so he was one of the gentlemen that I approached, and I said, Simon, what about, I can get you to housing. And we started working together, and Simon was just, oh my gosh, he was just such a love. And I just so enjoyed working with him.
That's wonderful.
So we got him into housing, and the news media wanted to know, hey, can we talk to one of your clients? We want to see how this Albuquerque housing Heading Home thing is going.
Right.
How's your housing going? And I said, I have just the right guy for you to talk to. So we went to Simon's home, and the news, the anchor interviewed him. Wow. and they aired the story that evening. And within a couple of days, they had a phone call from a young lady out of the Four Corners area. And she said, you know what? That's my dad.
Oh, wow.
And she said, I thought he died a long time ago. I lost touch with him years ago. So they connected Simon with his daughter. They arranged for the transportation so that the daughter could come and meet her dad. And he had these grandchildren that he's never even known about, that he never met. And the family reconnected after years and years and years of being disconnected. Right. And the daughter thinking that her dad had died on the streets. Yeah,
you don't know. You lost connection for so many years. Yeah. You just don't know. Right.
And so it was just, and Simon passed away a few years ago after some illness. Mm-hmm. But knowing that someone who thought that they would never be housed. Right. They died in the comfort of their own home. With they had family. Reconnected with family. Yeah. And,
I could see how that.
Yeah, so that's a big part of what kind of keeps me continuing to want to do this work.
Wonderful.
One of the other stories I want to touch on, and this one actually is on our website. Okay. So if people go to the headinghome.org website, they can see the full interview that we had with Christy.
So that's headinghome.org, guys. Go check it out. Look at the videos. And you said it, Christy?
Christy.
Okay. Tell us that.
Her name is Christy.
Okay.
Christy is one of those moms. She was involved with CYFD. She has a child who was critically ill when he was born with a heart defect. His biological father broke several of his bones during an incident of abuse. And Christy got into the system because of what this man did. They took her little boy away from her. And CYFD called us and they said, hey, do you have housing for this lady? This was just really a bad circumstance. Right. She's okay to have her child in her custody. He's critically ill. Wow. And so that's how we got Christy into our program. Her little boy since then has had several heart surgeries. He's doing really well now. Over all of this time that Christy had to spend in the hospital with her little boy during, his first few months, she lost her job. She lost her housing, basically everything that she ever worked for. Wow. she lost in that period of time when she
Right.
was being a mom at the hospital with a critically ill child.
Yeah.
So Christy came into the program. She stabilized. Her little boy had all the surgeries that he needed, and then Christy was diagnosed with cancer. And
Yeah.
having a home allowed Christy to go through her chemotherapy.
That's
She's
wonderful.
now getting through her surgeries.
A lot of hurdles, but man, just helping them overcome. That's
and the
so
support
great.
system that she had throughout that journey. And again, Christy is one of those women that, she just needed that hands up to help her.
Sometimes we're on top, and sometimes, we're struggling. We all need some help every once in a while.
That's the families, it's the kiddos. It's something that's very personal to me, and that just like
how's she doing now?
She's doing great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, she's having follow-up surgery, and she's cancer-free.
Cancer-free? That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely phenomenal.
It's one of those stories
her kids doing well.
Yes.
That's great.
So it just kind of stays with you and makes you want to continue to do what you're doing.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Guys, headinghome.org. Check out their website. We're going to be letting you know all about headinghome.org all throughout March and April. And we're going to be raising funds throughout the month to help you all out, to keep people connected throughout the community and help our community and make an impact right here where we can. So thanks so much for coming on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
You guys have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you.